This is Chris with Eagles. Like, subscribe to CNW Wrestling on YouTube, subscribe to my other channel, Word of Chris, and subscribe to this channel, Chris Videos, and follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and both of my TikToks. I'll be down there in the description box, and I'm here to do my AEW Dynamite May 10th, 2023 reviews. So here we go, discussing about tonight's episode of AEW Dynamite. Now, this show is a pretty packed show. There's many matches, but let's go ahead and talk about the first match of the night. It was the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion Claudio Castagnoli versus one half of the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions, Rey Fenix, in a Double Jeopardy match. Now, pretty much what the Double Jeopardy match is, if Rey Fenix wins this match, he will get a shot for the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Championship up against Claudio. And if Claudio defeats Rey Fenix, he and a partner of his choosing will get a shot for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships. So yeah, that's what the Double Jeopardy match is all about. But yeah, this match, it was a pretty good match. It was going back and forth and everything. Rey Fenix trying to counter a lot of Claudio moves. Like at one point, he countered the Ricola Bomb from Claudio, and because Claudio was trying to hit on him, and Rey Fenix countered it into a Code Red pretty much and pins him, but obviously Claudio kicked out at 2. Now, during this match, we see Bryan Daniels and Wheeler Yuta watching this match from a TV monitor backstage. So, yeah, they was keeping a close eye on this match as well. So, yeah, that's what they was doing. John Moxley's not with him because he's getting ready for his steel cage match later on tonight against Kenny Omega. But yeah, like I said, it was going back and forth and everything. At one point, we see Rey Fenix a super kick on Claudio. He pins him, but Claudio barely kicking out at 2. All of a sudden, Rey Fenix lifts up Claudio, trying to lift him up on his shoulders, but Claudio fought off of his shoulders, lifts up Rey Fenix. I forgot what you call that move, but he slams him down. He pins him, but Rey Fenix kicked out at 2, and then Claudio starts laying in some elbows onto Rey Fenix, laying him out and stuff, and then he lifts him up, hitting the Ricola Bomb onto Rey Fenix, pinning him for the 1, 2, 3. So yeah, Claudio Castagnoli defeated Rey Fenix tonight on AEW Dynamite, and him and a partner of his choosing will be getting a shot for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships up against the Lucha Brothers eventually. So yeah, that's what happened there. Pretty good match though between those two guys. For that match, I'll give it 3.5 stars. That's why I'll give it. It was a pretty good match between Claudio and Rey Fenix. So yeah, that's why I'll give it 3.5 stars. But yeah, after that we see somebody walking backstage, and then the camera goes up to the face, and it was Miro, and Renee Paquette goes up asking Miro, like, why is he there and stuff. Miro don't answer. He just walks into Tony Khan's office. So yeah, we're going to see what Miro got to do right there. And then after that, we see a video package pretty much of MJF talking about the 4 pillars and stuff, talking about Darby Allin, Sammy Guevara, and Jungle Boy and stuff. But then he starts talking about how he's the greatest of all time, been the greatest singles dog collar match, been the greatest Iron Man match, and all that stuff. And he's talking about how he's going to be in the greatest Fatal 4-Way match and walk out as still the AEW World Heavyweight Champion. So yeah, that's what MJF was saying. But yeah, later on tonight, they got many more matches. John Moxley versus Kenny Omega in the steel cage. That'll be the main event, and much more. So yeah, I'll see you guys later until the next thing that happens on AEW Dynamite. See you guys later. Until then. So the next thing that happened on AEW Dynamite, so we had the AEW World Tag Team Champions, Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler, FTR. They come out and they are calling out Mark Briscoe and stuff so they could talk to him or whatever. And then all of a sudden, instead of Mark Briscoe coming out, it was Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett with Sanjay Dutt and Satnam Singh. They come out, and FTR was talking about how, that Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal and them wants a tag team title match up against FTR at Double or Nothing, and FTR was like, fine, we'll accept that deal if y'all can admit that y'all are using Mark Briscoe to get to us. And at first they wouldn't admit to nothing. Everybody stayed quiet for a minute up until Mark Briscoe comes out. And Mark Briscoe got like some alcohol and stuff and got some cups and all that stuff. And pretty much he starts talking about how he's talking to Tony Khan backstage, and that Tony Khan made it official. At Double or Nothing, it'll be FTR versus Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal for the AEW World Tag Team Championships with him as the special guest referee. So yeah, that's what Mark Briscoe said, and then all of a sudden everybody's happy about that. And then all of a sudden he's, giving them some drinks or whatever, gives it FTR, and then we see Sanjay Dutt grabbed the bottle, drank out the bottle, and then spits it right into Dax's face. Everybody starts going at it. We've seen Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett attacking Cash Wheeler and stuff. And then all of a sudden we see Mark Briscoe try and break it up and stuff. And then Jeff Jarrett tosses Mark Briscoe into Dax Harwood, which Dax Harwood didn't know who he grabbed. And he just grabs Mark Briscoe and spikes him with the power driver, laying him out, and didn't even notice. So yeah, that's what happened there. Pretty good segment there, I guess. But then after that, we see Renee Paquette interviewing Chris Jericho backstage. Jericho's talking about how he got some papers, legal papers for Adam Cole, and that Adam Cole is banned from the building when he's in the building and all that stuff. So yeah, that's what Chris Jericho's saying. But then also we see Roderick Strong come up, talking to Jericho, talking about how he challenges Jericho not in a wrestling match, but in a Falls Count Anywhere next week on AEW Dynamite. And then Jericho accepts it. He goes like, oh, wait, I forgot to give you these papers. And he gives him the papers, and he says that the Jericho Appreciation Society are banned from the building next week for that match. So, yeah, that's what Roderick Strong said to him. But then after that, we see Renee Paquette try to interview, waiting at the door at Tony Khan's office, waiting for Miro to come out. But then all of a sudden we see Thunder Rosa come up, and Thunder Rosa said, that's a good night to go talk to Tony Khan. She walks in there. So yeah, Thunder Rosa returns tonight as well. But yep, that's what happened there. So yeah, I'll see you guys later until the next thing that happens on AEW Dynamite. See you guys later. Until then. So the next thing that happened on AEW Dynamite, it was a one-on-one match. It was the AEW All-Atlantic Champion Orange Cassidy versus Daniel Garcia one-on-one for the AEW All-Atlantic Championship. Now, before we even talk about this match, we're going to talk about one thing backstage. So yeah, it was Tony Khan. He was talking backstage, and he was talking about how a bunch of wrestlers want an opportunity and all that stuff. But he says he got a major announcement next week on AEW Dynamite. So yeah, everybody got to stay tuned for that. Now, if I'm correct, it's that other show or whatever. So, yeah, like a 2-hour show. But yeah, we'll see. But yeah, that's what he was talking about. But then we get to the match. Orange Cassidy versus Daniel Garcia one-on-one for the AEW All-Atlantic Championship. This match, it was a pretty good match between these two guys. It was going back and forth and everything. Daniel Garcia is going after the hand of Orange Cassidy. At one point, Daniel Garcia was trying to lock on the sharpshooter, but Orange Cassidy reverses it, rolling him up for a 2 count. After Garcia kicked out, Orange Cassidy punches him in the face and then hits beach break onto him. He pins him 1-2. Daniel Garcia barely kicking out at 2. Garcia starts fighting back, locks on the sharpshooter and stuff, leaning all the way back, trying to make Orange Cassidy tap out, but Orange Cassidy was not going to tap out. He started fighting out of it, but then Daniel Garcia locks on the crossface, trying to make Orange Cassidy tap out, and he starts stumping on the hand at the same time. But then Cassidy fights out of that and rolls through with a pinning him, but he only got a 2 count. Garcia rolls up Cassidy, but like a crucifix pin, but he kicked out at 2. And then Cassidy rolls him up like a crucifix pin on Daniel Garcia, getting the 3 count. So yeah, Orange Cassidy defeated Daniel Garcia tonight, and he has retained the AEW All-Atlantic AEW International Championship. My fault. Still calling it the All-Atlantic, but it's the International Championship. So yeah, forgot that they changed the name to it. But yeah, Orange Cassidy retains the AEW International Championship tonight on AEW Dynamite. That's what happened. It was a pretty good match between those two guys. I give that match 3.5. I'll have to give it 3 stars. That's why I'll give it. It was a pretty good one. But yeah, up next we'll be seeing Christian Cage on Dynamite. So yeah, we'll go ahead and see what he got to say up next. But yeah, I'll see you guys later until the next thing that happens on AEW Dynamite. See you guys later until then. So the next thing that happened on AEW Dynamite, now we had Christian Cage make his way down to the ring. Tony Schiavone was in the ring, and he was interviewing Christian Cage. He was with the Luchasaurus, and they was asking, like, how did he got the TNT Championship shot and all that stuff without even doing anything. He says, because my name means a lot. I could go up to the boss and say what I want, and I'll get what I want and stuff like that. But yeah, that's what he was saying. He's saying he's a big star and all that stuff. But then he starts talking crap about Detroit, Michigan and stuff, since they're in there tonight, talking a lot of crap, telling them shut up and all that stuff. And then he starts talking about Wardlow and stuff, talking about how that, talking about his father and all that stuff. But then he says that he was looking for his father figure, and that he found Arn Anderson, that Arn Anderson, was looking for his son and stuff. But then he found Wardlow because he says that he was talking about, like, how he brought Brock Anderson into the company and all that stuff. Somehow he's going to do all these great things, and he left his side and went to Wardlow's side. So yeah, that's what he was talking about. But then he was talking about how next week on Dynamite, he's going to see Wardlow in the ring. He's going to walk down there, spit in his face, and tell him that his days are numbered, and that he's going to take the TNT Championship from him from Double or Nothing. So yeah, that's what Christian Cage was talking about. And then he tells Detroit to kiss his ass, and then walks away. So yeah, that's what happened there. Pretty good segment though. But yep, that's what happened there. But up next, we're going to be seeing Julia Hart versus Anna Jay one-on-one in a no-holds-barred match. That match will be up next. So yeah, I'll see you guys later until the next thing that happens on AEW Dynamite. See you guys later until then. So the next thing that happened on AEW Dynamite, it was a one-on-one match. It was Julia Hart versus Anna Jay one-on-one in a no-holds-barred match. Now, right when Julia Hart was making her entrance and stuff, she gets attacked from behind by Anna Jay with a steel chair and stuff, and then we get the match underway. In this match, it was okay. They brought in some trash cans, a bunch of steel chairs, and then a lot of stuff like that. So yeah, they was doing a lot of moves and stuff on pile of steel chairs. But then we get to the very ending where Anna Jay's trying to pick up the win a few times. Couldn't get the win. Julia Hart is still fighting now stuff, kicking out pins and all that stuff. And then Anna Jay was on the top turnbuckle. Julia Hart goes over there going after her, beating her down and stuff. And then hits a superplex onto her, which was supposed to be on the pile of steel chairs, but the pile of steel chairs was a little bit farther back. So maybe Anna Jay hit her legs, maybe. They completely missed it. And then Julia Hart locks on her submission hold onto Anna Jay. I think it's called the Heartless or whatever, onto her, and then makes her tap out. So yeah, Julia Hart defeated Anna Jay tonight in the no holds barred match on Dynamite. That's what happened. For that match, I'll give it 2 stars. That's what I'll give it. But then after that match ended, we see Renee Paquette interviewing Trent Beretta, Chuck Taylor, and Orange Cassidy, Best Friends, and Bandito. And Best Friends is supposed to choose a stipulation for the last role of this match against the House of Black for the AEW World Trios Tag Team Championships. And they didn't know they were supposed to choose the rules, so they chose that no witches should be allowed at ringside. So yeah, Julia Hart can be at ringside. And then they can go out there. So yeah, up next, that match will be happening up next for the AEW World Trios Tag Team Championships. Up next on Dynamite. And still to come later on tonight, it'll be Jon Moxley versus Kenny Omega in a steel cage match in the main event. So yeah, I'll see you guys later until the next thing that happens on AEW Dynamite. So the next thing that happened on AEW Dynamite, it was a 6-man tag team match. It was Trent Beretta and Chuck Taylor, Best Friends, teaming up with Bandito versus the AEW World Trios Tag Team Champions, Malachi Black, Brody King, and Buddy Matthews, the House of Black, and a 6-man tag team match for the AEW World Trios Tag Team Championships in the House of Black rules. So yeah, this is the match with the lights dimmed down and stuff, where you can still see on television and stuff. I don't know if the crowd can. Maybe they can, but yeah. It was a pretty good match between all 6 of these guys. Bandito was doing pretty good and everything, but then the House of Black starts taking control of this match at the very ending, and then we see them hit Dante's Inferno onto Chuck Taylor, and then Brody King pinned Chuck Taylor for the 1, 2, 3. So yeah, the House of Black defeated Best Friends and Bandito tonight in the 6-man tag team match, and they have retained the AEW World Trios Tag Team Championships. That's what happened. Pretty good match though. I give that match 3 stars. That's what I'll give it. It was a good one. So yeah, that's what happened there. And then after that, we see Ricky Starks talking about Jay White and Juice Robinson in a video package or whatever, and he's talking about he's going to get them and all that stuff. So yeah, that's what happened there. But next will be the main event. It will be Kenny Omega versus Jon Moxley, one-on-one in a steel cage match up next on AEW Dynamite in the main event. So yeah, I'll see you guys later until the next thing that happens on AEW Dynamite. See you guys later until then. So the next thing that happened on AEW Dynamite, it was the main event. It was Kenny Omega with Don Callis at ringside versus Jon Moxley in a steel cage match. Now Bryan Danielson was on commentary for this match. In this match, it was a pretty damn good one. Pretty great main event. They brought in a lot of weapons. They had steel chairs wrapped around with barbed wire around it. They exposed the turnbuckle, like literally took off the turnbuckle thing. Just a lot of stuff. They had glass in there and all that stuff. So yeah, like I said, pretty good match. We seen Jon Moxley get thrown into glass and everything. Obviously, he was busted open during this match, going after Kenny Omega and everything. Coming in a bunch of near falls between those two guys. Moxley got slammed onto the glass after he tried to lock on chokehold onto Kenny Omega, and then he still kept it on stuff that Omega had rolling through and everything, fighting out of it and all that stuff. But then we see him hit like a dragon suplex onto Jon Moxley. Moxley then rolls underneath the bottom rope, getting back up pretty much in between the steel cage and the ring and stuff. And then we see Kenny Omega coming up, hitting the ropes, coming back with a V-trigger onto Jon Moxley through the steel cage. Now, obviously, you cannot win this steel cage match by escaping or anything. You can only win it by pinfall or submission. So yeah, they both went through it, and then they was checking on Kenny Omega because his leg got stuck in between the ring and the steel cage and stuff. So, like, I guess he was alright. And then Moxley grabs Omega and then throws him back into the ring. Moxley then steals a screwdriver away from some guy out there. He gets into the ring, about to stab Kenny Omega upside the head with the screwdriver, up until Don Callis gets in the ring, taking the screwdriver out of Jon Moxley's hands. And then we see Kenny Omega coming up, hitting the V-trigger knee to the back of the head onto Jon Moxley, grabs him and hits a ripcord knee onto Moxley, picks him up and then lifts him up on his shoulders, hitting the one-winged angel onto Jon Moxley, and then pins him for the 1, 2, and then all of a sudden the pin gets broken up at the count of 2 because Don Callis stabs Kenny Omega upside the head with the screwdriver, and then Moxley pins Omega for the 1, 2, 3. So yeah, Jon Moxley defeated Kenny Omega tonight in the steel cage match in the main event of tonight's episode of Dynamite. That's what happened. Pretty good match. And then after the match ended, Don Callis, Omega was on his knees and stuff, and then Don Callis grabs a screwdriver and it looks like he's about to stab him, but then he just drops the screwdriver. He whispers something to Kenny Omega, kisses him on the forehead, pushes him down, and Omega's busted open and stuff. So yeah, that's what happened there. Pretty good match. What happened after the match was good stuff. I'll give it all 4 stars. That's why I'll give it. Pretty good stuff, though. For tonight's episode of AEW Dynamite, I'll give it 7.5 stars. That's why I'll give it. It was a pretty good episode. Match of the night was the main event, the steel cage match between Kenny Omega and Jon Moxley. But yeah, that's been my AEW Dynamite reviews. Like, subscribe to TNW Wrestling on YouTube, subscribe to my other channel, Word of Chris, and subscribe to this channel, Chris Videos, and follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and both of my TikToks. I'll be down there in the description box. And I'll see you guys later for this Friday Night SmackDown reviews. See you guys later. Until then.